Alltel Stadium here on the opening weekend of the 2002 NFL season is filled to capacity. An outstanding day for football with Randy Cross and Beasley Reese. Kevin Harlan, Mike Jandovac has the ball teed up. And here is a kicker who has had problems, Randy, with distance off the tee, and that has been a concern. Deep back, Elvis Joseph right there, who returned to kickoff a season ago for a touchdown.
So often, Kevin, coaches would rather have hang time on a kickoff now. They'll give up the short yards. Vanderjagt approaches, and we are underway. A short boot. And reserve running back Joseph from about the 7-yard line for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And brought down by David Macklin, a return of 18 yards on the play. And downstairs we go to Beasley Reese.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Keep your eyes on quarterback Mark Brunell. He hurt his right groin on Thursday in practice. He did not practice at all on Friday. He told us it's no problem, but the right groin for the left-handed quarterback is the push and pivot leg. If it is a problem, we'll know right away back upstairs.
What do you think, Randy?
I don't think it's a problem for Mark Brunell now. Maybe 5-6 years ago when he was mobile, but since those knee injuries, he is not a very mobile quarterback.
From the 26-yard line, 1st and 10, the handoff goes to Fred Taylor, who dances into the defense and is brought down by Macklin, who has already started the game with 2 quick tackles. Gain of about a yard there, bringing up 2nd down and 9. 2nd down and 10 from the 26. The tight end Mitchell is on the move, as is Brunell. He's got Jimmy Smith. It's a gain of 9, no yellow on the field, and should be close to a first down, maybe a yard shy.
A great signal for Jaguars fans that Mark Brunell is going to be much more comfortable feeding the ball to Jimmy Smith. Hasn't been out here all preseason, has been in a holdout, took no time in practice to get that chemistry back together.
When I think about Brunell, Randy, I think about a mobile quarterback, but the knee injury a couple years ago, how do you assess him now?
Well, he's not a statue. He can get out of there a little bit, but he's pretty much a pocket quarterback. And when you watch him and he throws timing patterns, it's 1, 2, 3, bang, and gets rid of it, much like Peyton Manning. But when he has to read, and they take away the first read, watch his feet. He has what you call happy feet. They start chopping and moving.
Stacey Mack is coming in the backfield, the short yardage back, 3rd down and 1. From the Jacksonville 35. This is Mack, who took the place of Taylor a year ago and corkscrews his way up to the 36 and has a first down in the gain of 2.
Probably Stacey Mack's biggest fan of the Jacksonville Jaguars is Fred Taylor. Fred Taylor knows what he did last year when he was out with the injury. He's a good lead blocker, and as you saw there, a real power runner. He's not the cutback threat. He will run you over.
I take it Jacksonville's got to run the ball a lot today to keep it out of Manning's hands for the Colts.
I would say at least 30 times.
That's a lot. It's 1st and 10. Taylor is back in. Just inside the 37-yard line. Fred Taylor. Triplet was there with one of the initial hits, and they clogged up the middle on a gain of 3 at 2nd down and 7 up at the 40-yard line.
Hey, you know, Kevin, something for the fans out there to keep an eye on. Anytime you see Fred Taylor get the ball, he runs to the right side. He runs to the left side. Keep an eye on the backside, because the defense has to hang backside. They can't give all this new cover 2 pursuit that Tony Dungy wants, because Fred Taylor is so good at hopping backside and getting the big run.
2nd down and 7 from the 40. Taylor again. Nice cut right there, and finally wrapped up and brought down by Canada. But that cut is what you were looking for.
That's exactly what I was talking about. And Ron Meeks, the defensive coordinator now for the Colts, said during the week this year, we had to stop practice, or during the practice this week, we had to stop practice a few times. There's Coach Meeks. And tell the guys, look, stay home backside. If you stay there, you'll be rewarded, because Fred Taylor's coming back to you.
3 receivers, 3rd down and 6. Shotgun for Brunell. At his side is Taylor from the 41. The snap from John Wade, the center. And he comes a pass, which is caught for a first down. That's the refugee from the Pittsburgh Steelers, Bobby Shaw. He picks up 9 on 3rd and 6, and Randy, he's out the midfield.
You know, with Smith coming back, Tom Coughlin knows that Brunell is most comfortable with Bobby Shaw as a receiver. He's been with Jimmy Smith for a while, but Tom Coughlin's calling these plays. So when you see plays come into this huddle and Mark Brunell running plays, they're coming directly from Tom Coughlin.
Shaw turned down more money to go back to Pittsburgh. Instead, signed a one-year, $500,000 deal with Jacksonville. 7th play of the game-opening drive from the 51st and 10. And Brunell short as he was going again for Shaw, the 27-year-old from Cal. Flag is on the field. A hold is against Jacksonville. There's Bernie Kukar, who is a referee today. He has officiated in 2 Super Bowls, including last January's Super Bowl,
which was truly super.
Yes.
That was one of the few great games.
77 offense. The 10-yard penalty, still first down.
That's Zach Wiegert, who is taking the place of Tony Baselli as we take a look at Tony Dungy.
And if you follow Tony Dungy's Colts this year, Kevin, and you watch them on defense, you'll see a lot of holding penalties this year because Tony Dungy wants quick, pursuing linemen. Look at Chad Brasky at the right defensive end, for instance. All his career as a coach, Tony Dungy's had quick defensive end. Brasky lost 15 pounds.
It looks great. 1st and 20 from the 40 after the penalty. Taylor again, and stood up by Washington and brought down the very active linebacker who's out of Auburn. It's a gain of nothing. In fact, a loss of about a half yard on the play.
When you talk about this cover 2 pursuing defense, Chad Brasky's here. He's going to go up the field. Who has the hole? It's got to be filled right here by Washington. Look at the nice job he does. Brasky will not let anybody get around him. Washington has to be there for the tackle. That's just like Ron Meeks, the coordinator, drew it up.
The number 1 pick, Freeney, is now in. 2nd down and 20 inside the Jacksonville 40. Freeney is number 93. And he's coming in on Brunell. The pass caught by Jimmy Smith for a first down to the Colts, 43. In fact, you may be shy by a couple yards because the spot was not as good as he wanted. So he's at the 43. Bashir was on the coverage, and we hear from Jimmy Smith, who held out the entire training camp, but signed just this week.
Well, Jimmy Smith doing this surprises nobody that's a Jaguar fan. If you've seen this guy at all, you know he's one of the top 4 wide receivers, I think, in the game since he's been in it. He's an amazing receiver. He's bigger this year, Kevin, and physically he looked much bigger. He's 215.
3rd down and 3 outside the 43-yard line of the Colts. Game-opening drive orchestrated by Mark Brunell. Here they come at him. Scioli was bearing down on him, and that forced the pass outside. Good coverage in the secondary by Macklin. They were aiming for Johnson. And a player is down, and that is James Canada, a defensive lineman for the Indianapolis Colts.
You know, Kevin, we talked about Mark Brunell not being much of a scrambler and being a pocket quarterback. That doesn't mean he can't put a good move on a guy every once in a while, and you saw that move that he put right there on Scioli. He should have been sacked. He put that move on and saved himself.
There is an injury timeout with Canada on the floor.
Show your good sportsmanship.
And after the injury to Canada, who walked off, here is the punt by Jacksonville and Hansen, and they'll let it go inside the 10. And Chris Hansen has drilled this at about the 2, which will maroon Peyton Manning. A nice one by the 3rd-year punter out of Marshall, a 36-yarder, but a beauty. That's the beautiful St. John's River here in Jacksonville with Randy Cross and Beasley Reese, Kevin Harlan. Jacksonville punting the first time they have it. And they bury Peyton Manning at the 4, who will have his eye on Tony Brackens. Edgerrin James in the backfield, 1st and 10. And the first snap of the season, Manning goes outside for James. A little fight out there with Westmoreland, who brings him down. Westmoreland allows just a gain of 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8. A look at Peyton Manning, who today makes his 65th consecutive start. Not bad.
I think he and Brett Favre, Kevin, are the 2 real, I guess, hood ornament quarterbacks in this league. They're the ones that run their teams. They're the guys that run their football games better than anybody else.
2nd down and 8. Outside the 5. Boy, it's got to be noisy down there.
That's an occupational hazard.
And our first look at Edgerrin James on the ground, held by Bryant, got away from him, and then Donovan Darius finishes him off after a gain of 7. 3rd down and 1. Outside the Colt 12, trying to get some breathing space. James, Pollard with the block. Westmoreland is blocked out of the way. Then Wally Rayner gets him, but not after James chugs his way for a 7-yard gain on 3rd and 1. Maneuverability now for Peyton Manning. Couple tight ends, couple wideouts, and James in the backfield, shy of the 20 with a great play fake. Manning down the middle, and he's got his receiver. It's caught by Ismail, and the missile is up to the 46-yard line and a gain of 21 yards.
So Kadri Ismail is going to he's going to love being in this offense and being around Peyton Manning. And one of the things Manning does better than anybody probably in the last 5-6 years in this league is that play action fake. Gives the ball, takes it back, and hits that receiver in stride. And if you're a young quarterback out there, note where Peyton Manning throws the ball. He never makes his receiver slow down to catch it.
And great tempo and rhythm.
Absolutely.
Outside the 45, 1st and 10. James. He got a block from Dean, and then he is caved under. They had all kinds of players. Marcus Stroud, who's playing with a bad ankle today, stops him after a gain of 3.
Well, you know, in that feature on the pregame show, James told Primetime that he'd been ready for quite a while, and so far we've seen him catch it out of the backfield, towed it right, towed it left, and looks like the same Miami Hurricane that ripped up my Bruins his last year in Miami.
You said it. 2nd down and 7 at about the 49. Manning. Right through the hands of Marvin Harrison, but don't discount the coverage of Fernando Bryant, who has started his entire career in Tom Coughlin's secondary.
Hey, Kev, that's a matchup you got to see a lot of if you're a Jags fan. You've got to see Bryant on Harrison. Harrison is such a chemistry between his quarterback. He reads defenses as well as Peyton, and he's always there for Peyton when he needs him.
3rd down and 7. You see the 3rd down conversion rate from a season ago. Shotgun snap from Jeff Saturday from the 49. Blocked by Meadows and a block by Glenn. Right on the money he goes to Marvin Harrison for a 1st down pickup to the Jacksonville 35. It's a gain of 16 yards on 3rd down and 7.
Manning to Harrison is like a Lennox Lewis jab. You read about it before the fight. You know it's going to happen. Everybody tells you it's going to happen. You know Harrison's getting the ball in the big plays, and Manning still drills the ball. Great low angle here to tell you exactly where Harrison is. This offense just clicks. Tom Moore, the coordinator, might be the best in the business.
Bracken still in as an end for Jacksonville. 8th play of the drive, 35-yard line. This drive by the Colts began back at about their 4. 1st and 10. The fake to James and a beauty. Time for Manning, and again through the hands of Harrison. Coverage by Bryant, 2nd down and 10.
If you like offensive football, and we talked about the last couple days, Kevin, you got to love the Colts because of what they do. Look at the precise route that Marvin Harrison, when they said, Marvin, run up 12, go towards the sideline, the ball be about head high. This thing's going right about Mach 5 when it goes over his head, so he can't catch it. But the precision and the timing for Tom Moore's offense right now is clicking.
2nd down and 10 from the 35. James. Nice little block in there by DeMullen, picking up a gain of 5, and he's to the 30-yard line, continuing to move the ball. You know, the thing about Manning that you noticed in watching tape on Friday, every handoff, every fake is exactly the same. Thus, it can seduce you so easily if you're a defensive player.
Well, that's what I say about running the game, running his team. You'll see him before snaps signaling and yelling at guys and saying things to them. He runs his football team, and he has total grasp of his position.
Great control. 3rd and 5 from the 30. Good block by James. There's the pass caught by Reggie Wayne. A 1st down to the 23. A gain of 7 on 3rd and 5. And time after time on this drive, Manning has converted big 3rd down plays. 3rd and 7 and now 3rd and 5.
And patience is one of the things you got to have as a quarterback. You see his head, 1st read, 2nd read coming across. And I can't say enough about a receiver. And I played with a lot of great ones, but the great ones were the ones that would go inside and are willing to take that hit. Now, Reggie Wayne may not be great, but he doesn't mind taking a lick.
Bracken's back in the game. Good-looking drive orchestrated by Manning inside the 24-yard line of Jacksonville. 1st time the Colts have had it. And with a little pump fake and looking for James. Incomplete. Bryant again back there. What do you think of the need so far of Edgerrin on what has been just a handful of plays in his first action since almost a year ago?
Can't see much of a difference. You see him coming out of the hole, he looks fine. And Peyton Manning obviously has spent a lot of time in practice at full speed with those lead passes like that, so he knows where his back's going to be. I don't see any slowdown in this guy at all. No brace, no nothing.
You're also wondering about his blocking, protecting Manning. What have you seen there?
He hasn't done much of it yet.
22-yard line, 2nd and 10. 12th play of the drive. Draw play to James. He gets by one defender. That was on the defensive line. Henderson picks up 2 yards and then falls ahead to about the 21.
So you got to remember something, though, Kevin, about a great player that runs the way that Edgerrin James does. Much like Fred Taylor, when we talked to him, Edgerrin said there was not really anything he can't do. And Fred Taylor said, well, there's a few things when I do it, it kind of hurts. They're the only ones that know that.
Right.
I don't know that. You don't know that. Their teammates don't know that. They're the only ones that know exactly what they can and cannot do.
And they got to compensate, and both are pros, and they've done that in the preseason. 3rd down and 8 inside the 21. Manning on the money, and a catch by 31-year-old Qadry Ismail. They knock Manning down. Another 3rd down conversion, a pick up of 13. So on the drive, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 7, and now 3rd and 8, all converted.
Well, John Peace, the new defensive coordinator for the Jaguars, has brought more of an attacking type defense to Jacksonville again, the way they had been in the past. The key to getting after Manning is like that. You don't quite get there, but he's got to know you're there. But he's got such poise. If you don't start taking chances, he will pick you apart.
Couple tight ends, 1st and goal at the 8. Colts' first drive of the season. Davenport is on the move, and he gives a block for James, who submarines to the 6 on a gain of 2. 2nd down and goal. Just finishing up on James, 10.5 months to rehab an ACL. I haven't heard of that.
He's obviously on a whole different program than the rest of us. Most people you talk to, it's a year, year and a half, 2 years to feel normal. And when he talked, he talked to Dion in the pregame show. He said he'd been ready for a while. That is scary. But remember, he was playing flag football late last year.
Remember, all these plays scripted. This is the opening drive of the game for the Colts. 2nd down and goal at the 6. Glenn with the block, and Manning with the dart. It's a touchdown pass caught inside by Qadry Ismail. His first touchdown reception as a Colt. A 6-yard strike from Peyton Manning.
And what you're seeing here is not a whole lot different than what Tom Coughlin would see in a lot of parks around the country. I want you to go down to the 3rd guy, hook around him. If I can, I'll get it to you. Only difference is the guy get it to you is putting it on a laser. Look at the spot. It's a narrow spot. College is an 8-yard wide spot. Pros is about a 2-foot wide spot.
And that's where it was. Using about 1.5 feet. Vanderjagt will try the extra point. And just like that, it is 7-0. The Indianapolis Colts. An outstanding drive by Manning, who converted one big down after another, culminating with that touchdown strike.
The Colts lead the Jaguars here in Jacksonville 7-0, and bad news for the Colts. Their right tackle, number 97, James Canada, was taken off the field on the cart. He has a sprained MCL in his right knee. They are evaluating him in the locker room. They have not determined whether or not he will be able to return. Back upstairs.
Thank you, Bees. Vanderjagt has the ball teed up on the 30. A 6-yard touchdown pass moments ago by Peyton Manning. And this is short. And Joseph inside the 10. Oh, and a great defensive play by Detron Smith, who made the Pro Bowl with the Denver Broncos in 1999 for just that reason. A 10-yard return. Jacksonville punted the first time they had it, and they buried Peyton Manning back inside his 5. And Manning just surgically cut the Jacksonville defense and goes downfield. A switch now on the Indianapolis defensive line. A rookie taking the place of the injured James Canada. Josh Millard, he's a 7th-round pick out of Georgia.
So both defensive tackles now are rookies.
From the 19, 1st and 10, Brunell. Fred Taylor bursting outside, chased by Morris, and then tripped up on the play by Corey Bird. A flag is down, and a hold across the way could negate a gain of 9.
I think it's going to be a hold on Patrick Johnson trying to block there for Fred Taylor.
A lot of holding penalties on Jacksonville a season ago.
Yeah, not that Tom Coughlin noticed.
84 offense. That's a 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
All right, log on to NFL.com and get up to the minute scores and stats, plus follow all of your favorite players all day long at NFL.com or AOL. Enter keyword NFL.com. Another penalty, 1st and 19. And the ball back just outside the 15-yard line. Brunell fires into a thicket of defenders, and it's caught up near the 26-yard line by Jimmy Smith, his second grab, and that's good for 11 yards.
Hey, you got to go back to last year, folks. As much physical problems as Jimmy Smith had going into the season last year, remember the big game he had when he came back. And it looks like he's right on track to do the same thing today. What makes him special or different from a Marvin Harrison? Much more physical, much stronger receiver. He can physically take care of almost any defensive back.
And no receiver has caught more passes or more yards since '96 than Jimmy Smith. 3rd and 2. Make it 2nd down and 2, and it's Fred Taylor up the middle and not much there. Still shy of the first down as he grinds his way up to the 28-yard line. Taylor was telling us that your groin is held together by, what, 3 muscles, and now he can only work with 2 of the 3.
Right. Whatever it was, it didn't sound good.
No.
It did.
3 are joined, and now just 2 are joined, and that's what he's got to work with.
The worst thing for this guy, too, is he's got a rep for, being hurt and maybe not playing as much as he should when he's hurt. And he got this injury last year, which was so severe, but it's not something that shows. It's not like you're walking around with a cast on your leg. And mentally, it was a tough deal for him to deal with.
Stacey Mack is in there, the 3rd down back, 3rd and 1 at the 28. The call from Mack. Hurdles a defender, breaks a tackle by Peterson, and dives for a first down. He's up to the 38. On 3rd and 1, he picks up 10.
I guess that preseason's kind of overrated, huh?
Must be. From the 38, a first down, and play action by Brunell. They're blocking by Uyghur, chased by Triplett. Here's Brunell. He has to throw it away on the fly. 2nd down and 10.
And, Kevin, a theme kind of off that report from New York that Jim Nantz just did, the tight end position. Both these teams big with tight ends. Brady, Pollard, Coughlin loves the tight end. In today's league, you got to have them.
Colts on top on a touchdown pass by Manning. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Going to start the 2nd quarter here at sold-out Alltel Stadium, Jacksonville, Florida, with Randy Cross and Beasley Reese, Kevin Harlan. Opening weekend of the NFL season. Jacksonville punted the first time they had. As you take a look at Tony Dungy, the father of 5, a guy who was let go, and you kind of alluded to it in the open, unceremoniously in Tampa Bay.
I played with Tony in San Francisco. When he said he had a 1-year-old last night, I about fell out of my chair.
First play of the 2nd quarter goes outside, and Jimmy Smith diving close to a first down. He's out to the 46. That was a 2nd and 10 play. He picks up 8. 3rd and 2. David Macklin makes the stop.
You're going to give Jimmy Smith this much pad, you better be one of the surest tacklers in NFL history, because he is strong as he is. He's going to run through you, and that should have been a 3 or 4 yard gain. That was speed and strength by Jimmy Smith for the extra 3 or 4 yards.
3rd down and 2 at the 46. Taylor is in the backfield. Changing the play.
Look out for 190, huh?
Everybody heard that. Good block by Uyghur outside the first down. That's what it was. And a nice 180 move outside by Jimmy Smith for a first down for the Jaguars. It's a pickup of 5 on 3rd down and 2.
Most people could hurt themselves trying to 180 on a 190 like that, Kev.
Can you even do it?
And as an offensive player, you love that to work. Your quarterback calls that out. But in the back of your mind, you're saying, what happens the next time they call that audible? You can't do the exact same thing. What happens next time, usually, it's a fake audible, and you go down the field, get that corner to suck up a little bit.
A lot of window dressing.
Lots. Peyton Manning does it great. Mark Brunell does it pretty good.
So a first down, 49-yard line. Taylor in the backfield. A lot of movement on both sides, and you see the flags and the stoppage of play.
Ball start. 74 offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, it's not too late. Fantasy football leagues are still forming. To sign up now, just click on to fantasy at CBSSportsline.com or AOL, enter keyword CBS Sports line. Brunell lost his best buddy on this offensive line, and in the locker room, Tony Baselli.
It doesn't seem right. It's kind of like Jimmy Smith saying Keenan McCardell isn't here on the other side catching balls. That was a sad reference. Mark Brunell says it just doesn't seem like the Jacksonville Jaguars without Tony Baselli.
Timeout taken by Brunell. It was 1st and 15 after his offense had just been assessed its 3rd offensive penalty of the game. So a timeout. Tom Coughlin, who is calling the plays this year for the Jaguars, takes time.
Back in Jacksonville where the Colts lead at 7-0. I want you to watch the rotation of the defensive line of the Colts. Their defensive coordinator, Ron Meeks, new defensive coordinator, told me he was going to get as many guys on the field as possible. Randy, I have counted 6 total changes already. Back to you.
And Bees, we haven't seen enough of the rookie Dwight Freeney yet. I want to see them turn him loose.
After the timeout, 1st and 15, and Fred Taylor slithers his way down to the 42-yard line, picking up 12. Tackled by Rob Morris, the middle linebacker. 7 carries for Taylor today and 24 yards.
Talk about turning it loose.
Yeah.
Fred Taylor, and you see the way when he runs straight line, you can say, boy, is he good. But when he starts going back and forth with that groin injury he suffered last year, watch the moves. There's very little straight line in what this guy does. He is going back and forth, and I can't see much of a difference. He says he's not 100%, but
outside the 42, 2nd down and 3. And Taylor again, bursting from 1st down to the 33-yard line. That's a gain of 8. I think you talked about it before. You said, we won't to the naked eye be able to see the difference, but he knows what he's got to do to compensate for that injury.
And I guarantee you a defensive back right now is saying, Fred Taylor was hurt? Hey, got a key word, series of words for you, Colts. Defensively, you better wrap this guy up.
He's the key to the season, they say. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. He's the key to this game. Feed Fred till his tongue hits the ground.
The 34-yard line. This Jacksonville drive began back at their 19. Taylor. And we got a block, a nice one from Bobby Shaw, his wide receiver, before Peterson brings him down about 7 to 8 yards on the carry by Taylor, and he's down to the 26.
You know, when I talked about be careful of the cutback of Fred Taylor, watch defensive end Scioli get out there and Fred Taylor get inside of him. The defense is so aware of cuts. The defense is so aware of where he's going to be. He's going where he's going where he isn't, and that's hard.
Taylor, 2nd down and 2. Outside the 26. Taylor again. Brought down by Morris from behind, but not after he drags him for an additional yard. Down to the 20. It's a gain of 6. Let me ask you to compare the top 3 players for each offense. Brunell, Taylor, and Smith against Manning, James, and Harrison.
I think it's a fair evaluation in all 3 but the quarterback. I think that's a mismatch. Mark Brunell is not quite in Peyton Manning's league. Taylor and James pretty close. I wouldn't draw much of a difference between Harrison and Smith. They're 2 of the best.
Stacey Mack is in. Taylor's getting a blow. 20-yard line, 1st and 10. Oh, busted play, and Brunell has got to run. Luckily, his receiver, Jimmy Smith, was giving him a block on the outside. And what could have been a loss of about 5 was a gain of 5 by the scrambling Mark Brunell, who a couple years ago blew out a knee, and he's almost to this day still coming back from that injury.
Well, you know, that's got to be the loneliest feeling in football. Just think of yourself as being a quarterback, and all you got out there is a wide receiver. Granted, a good wide receiver who can really block, but you turn around, you're handing it off, and suddenly it's like, I got to do this?
Mack remains in the game. 13th play of the drive. 2nd down, 5, 15-yard line. Mitchell in motion. Mack gets the call. There's a block by the fullback, Patrick Washington. The tackle on the defensive side made by Marcus Washington. Close to a 1st down near the 10-yard line. This drive almost as good looking as the one before it, orchestrated by Peyton Manning.
And we talked about Tom Coughlin calling the plays, and it's a totally different kind of rhythm this offense is in. Coughlin's offense is in a Fred Taylor rhythm. The Colts were in a Peyton Manning rhythm. Had a whole different feel to it. This Fred Taylor rhythm's got a lot of bass and a lot of bang.
Taylor back in, 3rd down and 1. That's the 3rd down conversion rate by the Jaguars at the 11-yard line. It's Taylor. Oh, and a great penetrating move on the defensive line, which may have negated any kind of gain by Taylor. You see Corey Bird getting off the top of the pile, but it came from the interior.
Well, watch Corey Bird come up from the defensive backfield, though. Remember, we're talking about Tony Dungy's defense. What does that mean? That means safeties forcing up. That means defensive corners making big tackles. Corey Bird is Tony Dungy's Indianapolis Colt trying to beat John Lynch. John Lynch, the Pro Bowl All-Pro strong safety from the Tampa Bay Bucks.
So when Brunell is watching what he thinks is Dungy's defense with the Colts, he's really watching last year's tape of the Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense.
It's close. He's been doing it in preparation, but any excellent coach, and Dungy is an excellent coach, as is Ron Meeks, the defensive coordinator of the Colts, knows you adjust what you want to do to what your talent can do. You can't do what you did in Tampa because you don't have the same talent.
4th and inches and multiple changes on both sides. Freeney comes in for the Colts. Taylor remains in the backfield for Brunell. 3 wideouts, 15th play of the Jacksonville drive. On the quarterback sneak. And obviously we're ready for that one. 1st and goal, Jacksonville.
You know, that's easy. Maybe it's the old center guard in me, but when I see that kind of formation, that just screams to me, let me have it in the middle. Look at the gap here. Mark Brunell just has to go straight ahead. He's going to get a block here by Naoli, just getting a piece of the defensive tackle. But that's like stealing. In fact, he could have stayed up and gotten another couple of yards if he wasn't diving for a first. John Wade, his big center, was right there.
Brunell, who will turn 32 in a week, has it 1st and goal at the 8. And the fake end around, and it goes up the middle instead, and Taylor is stacked and no place to run, no place to hide. A former #1 pick for the Colts, Rob Morris, makes the stop. We talked to Tom Coughlin yesterday morning. A lot of thoughts on what he's had to battle. Salary cap woes here in Jacksonville.
You know, every time somebody from Jacksonville, you know, the media or the fans or anybody complains about the cap, they ought to just think back to whether or not there would have been an expansion draft. If there hadn't been an expansion draft to take 15 to 20 million off their cap, what kind of a football team would they have had to put on the field there in Jacksonville?
We'll deal with that cap later on. Empty backfield, 2nd down and goal at the 8. Brunell to the end zone. It's the tight end, Pete Mitchell.
You know, chemistry is a word that's used an awful lot in the NFL, especially on television. This is what we have to refer to as renewed chemistry. Pete Mitchell was Mark Brunell's big go-to tight end for a while, spent some time in Detroit, other places. Brunell says, I'm glad he's back. I don't know, the rest of the teams didn't keep him.
The rookie Epstein in a bad hole puts it up and in. Both quarterbacks throwing short touchdown passes with converging defenses right on their receiver.
That's a great example of the professional window a quarterback has to throw into. College, it's open a big gaping hole. Not in the pros, it's just a crack you got to fit it through.
2 long drives, 2 touchdown passes. Jacksonville with Brunell to Mitchell moments ago. A 10-minute, 17-play drive. The ensuing kickoff by Epstein. And this will drive Troy Walters about 9 yards deep, 8 yards deep in the end zone.
Wow.
They love his leg.
That's a leg.
Pete Mitchell, who has been gone for the last 3 years, comes back and in a flourish. Gorgeous day here in Jacksonville. A couple touchdown passes, a 6-yarder by Manning, an 8-yarder by Brunell. We're tied at 7. It's been a while since we've seen this offense back on the field.
Looked just like the one that just left.
Yeah. On the 20 on the touchback after the kickoff. 1st down and 10. James in the backfield with Manning. The fake by Manning, blocked by James. Downfield, Marcus Pollard. He does a pirouette and finds a 1st down up to the 43. It's a gain of 24 as Manning continues to pick apart the Jacksonville defense. And coming up on the next till halftime report, join Jim, Dion, Dan, and Boomer for all the scores and highlights and a preview of the men's U.S. Open final That's the Nextel halftime report. Coming up with Randy Cross and Beasley Reese, Kevin Harlan. We're in Jacksonville, opening day of the NFL season, 43-yard line. Peyton Manning, 1st and 10. He's looked great to begin the year. James, nice block by Meadows, opens the door, and then finally crushed by Stroud. Up to the 50, a gain of about 7 on the play. 2nd down and 3 coming up.
Probably the #1 goal, I think, of this football team, or this defensive team for the Jaguars, Kevin, is to get this percentage completion down in the low 50s. The league average is about 58%. It's what's really hurt them in the past is they haven't gotten enough pressure. They weren't aggressive last year. Tony Bracken's had 11 sacks last year, but that's not enough because he's the only one that got pressure. Got to get more pressure and lower the percentage.
2nd down, 3 for midfield. You take a look at Bracken's. Manning, again, great time. And across the middle for the 1st down, a gain of 5. Who else? Marvin Harrison. He came out in that celebrated class of Keyshawn Johnson, Terry Glenn, Eric Mould. But for my money, even Eddie Kennison was in that. Marvin Harrison is the guy.
He's the head of the class. Keyshawn's got, I guess, the verbalization down, but Marvin Harrison has got the production down.
What a great work ethic, too.
Oh, unbelievable. Yeah, I tell you, the guy that to watch out for, though, is the tight end, Pollard. The more attention you pay to the wide receivers, the middle of the field is going to be wide open.
45-yard line, 1st and 10. 2nd Indianapolis possession of the half. Maybe offsides by Brackens. Free down for Manning. Tries to exploit it and does. There's the guy we were talking about, the tight end. Marcus Pollard, known more for basketball in college at Bradley than football. He picks up 8. Let's see what that flag is all about.
You basketball guys, you got to slide that basketball stuff in every chance you get, don't you?
He was a good one there. He's a power forward for the Braves.
Right end on the defense. That penalty is declined. We have a 1st down.
Well, Dilger was a cap casualty, and they'll miss him, but they think as good, if not a better pass-catching tight end in his place.
You know, he blocks pretty well, Pollard does, and I really like what he can do down that middle of the field, down the hash mark.
It is a 1st down. The Colts at the 33. What's this that Manning's doing there?
Well, sometimes it's window dressing, and sometimes it's danger.
Pulling block by the tight end, Wiggins, and no place to go for Edgerrin James. A loss of a yard of the play. It'll bring up 2nd down and 11. Nice pursuit by Marco Coleman.
Now, here's the first example we've had, Kevin, of kind of a similar play when Edgerrin got hurt. Remember, he went out here, he swept to his right, he had to stop, and when he blew that ACL out, it was in the stopping motion to go back. He goes, he cuts. It was good defense, but there was no hesitation. That's a good sign for Colts.
That's a lot of torque, too, on that joint.
A lot. It wasn't meant to take it either.
Well, 2nd down and 11. Shotgun snap from the 33. Manning, blessed with time. Across the middle. Jermaine Wiggins with a nifty move as he zigzags inside the 25. A guy who won a Super Bowl ring last season with the New England Patriots. Picks up 9. Manning looks as good as we've seen him.
And they're getting the pressure. They're getting some pressure on Peyton, but his patience pays off because he stays with it and gets the ball to Jermaine Wiggins. His big game last year, 10 catches in a snow drift for the New England Patriots against the Oakland Raiders. What a difference. Probably only about 120 degrees.
Good point. 3rd and 1. Manning has hit 6 straight. At the 25. Detron Smith the block for Edgerrin James, piercing the 20 for a 1st down to the 19. Gain of 5.
Remember I said the rhythm of the drive for the Jacksonville Jaguars was kind of the Fred Taylor rhythm with the bass and what was going on? This doesn't have a very dissimilar type of feel. Peyton's getting the little shots, but this is more an example of my guys are better and bigger than your guys. I'm getting a good lead block by Smith. I'm getting great blocking by some young interior offensive linemen for the Colts in DeMulling and Dean.
8th play of the drive. Inside the 20. 1st and 10. Manning. Quick flip outside. James has it ricochet off his fingertips. Had he caught it, he would have been in for 6. Darius was there.
You know, if you haven't seen the Colts too much, folks, you have to start really appreciating with the rhythm this offense gets into how dangerous these weapons are. Every single play you can say, that's a good defensive play. Oops, these are guys not covered. They're going to make a touchdown. If he catches that ball, that's 6 points.
A look at Tony Dungy, who after 10 minutes in his meeting with Bill Polian, knew he was going to get the job with the Colts. 2nd down and 10.
And probably celebrated for 10 weeks when he figured out he had Peyton, Harrison, and James.
A Meadows block and a dive by James, and a gain of about 4 in the play. We keep talking about this offensive line. They lost a couple guys. Steve McKinney, DeMulling replacing him. Larry Moore is gone. He went to Washington. Ryan Dean is replacing him, and they got one of the best offensive line coaches in the NFL in Howard Mudd.
You know, the ultimate compliment to a coach at any position is that he's a great teacher. Howard Mudd is a wonderful teacher of the offensive line position. That's why you see young linemen start that are 7th rounders like DeMulling. That saves teams CAC money.
Good point. 3rd down and 6. Indy 5 of 5 on 3rd downs today. Meadows with the block and to the end zone. Incomplete, looking for James. He was covered on the play by Eric Westmoreland, the 2nd-year linebacker out of Tennessee.
We talk about the toys and we talk about the weapons, and we keep talking about not much pressure. Peyton Manning is standing back there. You give this guy this kind of chance, he will start dropping these bombs on you.
So the Jacksonville defense holds Indianapolis out of the end zone. A 33-yard try now by Mike Vanderjagt, the most accurate field goal kicker in NFL history. You can see inside 40, almost perfect. Blocked.
You know that's your fault. You jinxed them.
It may have been Marcus Stroud. And I bet on one hand you can count the number of blocked field goal attempts that Mike Vanderjagt has had in his career.
Tom Coughlin talked about his big guys, Henderson and Stroud, blocking passes. This time, it's Stroud in a blocked field goal.
We're at the 2-minute warning, 7-7 game. Couple touchdown passes by Manning and Brunell. Vanderjagt just had a field goal attempt blocked, and here's the takeover at the 22-yard line. Fred Taylor, who is devoured by Scioli. It's a gain of 4. 2nd down and 6. Next till halftime. Next, Jim, Dion, Dan, and Boomer. Scores and highlights. A preview from the U.S. Men's Open. Flushing Meadows. 2nd down and 6 from the 24. Shotgun snap to Brunell. Good time. Wisely throws it away. Incomplete. 3rd down.
That was a smart decision by Mark Brunell getting rid of that. And it's one of the things Peyton Manning told us yesterday. He's just sort of getting into the mood to sort of adapt. That sometimes incomplete is good. Sometimes a punt is not bad. Don't always try to force the ball.
Coughlin is calling the plays this season.
Yeah, and I think Tom Coughlin is in a situation here where he knows what kind of rhythm he needs. He's up 3 or 4 minutes in time of possession. He's running Fred Taylor. That's what he needs.
3rd and a short 6, and they blow that dead in mid-motion. You saw some movement?
Offensive lines tend to...
77 offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Yeah, that was the whole line. You see that Mark Brunell's waving his arms going, no, it wasn't one guy. It was all of us.
Bob Petrino, who's now at Auburn, was calling the plays last year. This year, a different kind of flow from the information from Coughlin to the quarterback.
Yeah, but the last time they did that, 1999, and they were 14-2. So arguments line up to the right, and it's a short line.
All offensive penalties. 3rd down 11. Back inside the Jacksonville 20-yard line. Brunell, good block by Rieger. Screen pass to Taylor. Blocked by Meester. He gets by Bashir and then claws and climbs his way for a 1st down. Incredible effort by a guy who missed most of last season, who is under the microscope and carries the burden of being the key of Jacksonville's success on his shoulders. And the crowd loves it. It's opening day, and the emotion carrying right now the Jaguars. Well, we had a mix-up on the field. We were still in a timeout, and for whatever reason, they got the players back to the line of scrimmage. It's opening day for everybody. A lot of emotion. You know, this is what you expect in a game like a good play, and we've seen it so far.
This is the closest thing to college football you'll see in the NFL. A team like the Colts who should be scoring a lot, it's emotion.
1st and 10, bobbled and dropped by Patrick Johnson, who comes from the Baltimore Ravens. Incomplete, 2nd down and 10.
To kind of finish up on that thought, Kevin, emotion plays such a huge role in this opening day experience for young players. Patrick Johnson and the Jacksonville Jaguars are 6-1 in their existence in opening day. They're one of those teams. The Dolphins have won 10. There's teams in this league you don't want on opening day. Jacksonville's one of them.
2nd down and 10. Taylor. And to the 38-yard line, where he is smothered by Bird. A gain of 5. Clock continues to tick. Timeouts. Jacksonville. The Colts have all 3 of their timeouts, and Jacksonville has 1 remaining. 2nd timeout taken by the Jaguars. Another timeout taken by Jacksonville. 1 remaining for them. 3rd down and 5. Shotgun formation outside the 37-yard line for Mark Brunell. Great time. Look at his pace. Throws an interception. Picked up by Washington. On the fly and gone for a touchdown. And there's no yellow on the field.
Sometimes when emotion meets ability, emotion definitely loses. Jacksonville trying to do the smart thing. Mark Brunell trying to do the smart thing. Throws into coverage and does the wrong thing.
Marcus Washington with his 2nd career interception and his 1st career touchdown.
That's like giving up 2 touchdowns when you're playing against Peyton Manning's offense.
Brunell had a couple of interceptions returned last year for touchdowns too. Vanderjack's extra point is in. And Marcus Washington, a 3rd-year player out of Auburn, a 2nd-year starter, comes up with a huge play and gives the Colts their 2nd lead of the ballgame. Mark Brunell just picked off. And Marcus Washington grabs it and races the other way for a touchdown. 14-7 is the score with Jacksonville down. The wind has just blown the ball off the tee. Jaguars will get it with the timeout and 33 seconds on the clock.
You talk about a character deflator or a morale deflator. It's really a situation now where Mark Brunell's football team, his offense, his defense, his special teams, and his coaching staff has to get the emotion and the enthusiasm back, because that will totally flat just drill you.
Vanderjack's kickoff. Elvis Joseph just outside the 10-yard line. Nice blocking ahead by Kiwaki Thomas. And out of bounds. 35-yard line. 25 seconds remaining before the half. A 26-yard return.
I had a couple of football points I wanted to bring up. First of all, preseason. I think maybe it's time we change the format of preseason. Maybe, charge half as much for scrimmages instead of full price for phony games. Patience. Every player needs it. And chemistry, the lost ingredient in this league. Every year, your Super Bowl winner, the reason they win primarily is the chemistry on the football team. We all tend to forget it.
36-yard line. Jacksonville lost 10 starters. How about their chemistry? Here comes Brunell. Fires a pass outside where it's caught by Taylor. Out of bounds, shy of a 1st down. 42-yard line, gain of 7.
But Kevin, how many starters and how terrible at times did New England look last year? 1-3. What Bill Belichick did was he had a quarterback that wasn't hurting him. He had a defense that was making plays. He had an offense and an Antoine Smith that he signed, and he had guys that were good at what he did when he signed them, and he didn't pay a lot for them. Tom Coughlin's going to have to follow that formula now, as cap-strapped as this organization is.
Detroit movements, too, by GM Scott Pioli. 2nd down and 3. A Wiegert block. Time for Brunell. Line tries a pass downfield. Caught by Jimmy Smith. Twirling to the 33. Tackled by Dries Bashir. 10 seconds left. Jacksonville's taking a timeout. A 24-yard gain. Well, Brunell just threw the interception for a touchdown, but now he gets it just the next possession, takes his team down. They're going to try for 3. Instead of continuing to go, they're out of timeouts. 10 seconds on the clock. A 52-yard try by Hayden Epstein. What do you think of this strategy? Could they get one more play in?
I think this is a good idea. And I also think what Tom Coughlin just did with Mark Brunell is why you have the faith in a good to great quarterback to throw the ball after a dumb mistake, after a clearly bad decision by his quarterback. Tom Coughlin says, okay, look, here's play A, B, and C. What do you got for me? You're our guy. Prove you're our guy. Brunell goes down, drills it, and sets him up in a position to try to get some points.
So the decision by Coughlin to go for 3. U.S. Open is coming up after this broadcast. Pete Sampras, Andre Agassi, 4 o'clock Eastern time here on CBS. A rookie kicker will try it. Hayden Epstein, who grew up in San Diego as a surfer, played soccer as a youth, went to the University of Michigan, where he was one of the best in college football a year ago. Great leg, they say, but his accuracy in his first field goal try in the NFL, a little bit to be desired. Mike Hollis is now gone. A casualty again of the camp, and plus he had a kind of a poor season last year, so they draft this kid in the 7th round out of Michigan.
And Tom Coughlin here is making note to young Hayden that they do put the crossbar about 10 feet off the ground in this league. You might want to get the ball a little bit higher than that.
And a little bit straighter. But they say, and we've seen it already today, that his kickoffs are outstanding. So it appears as though the Colts will fall on it, although last year in New Orleans we saw Peyton Manning in a somewhat similar situation. Pump fake a spike to stop the clock and ran around, which they eventually disallowed.
And Kevin, missed field goal or not, that was a great effort out of a bad situation from Jacksonville. They got a little bit of that excitement back.
Let's go downstairs to Beasley Reese.
All right, thanks, guys. I'm with Coach Coughlin. Coach, you go from the emotional high of the block to the emotional low of the touchdown. What do you tell these guys?
Well, we're fighting our butts off. You know, we got to keep battling. You know, we threw the interception there. It should have never happened. We're trying to make a simple first down there to keep the ball. We just got to keep battling. You know, it's one of those games. They had the ball for a long drive. We had the ball for a long drive. Somebody's going to make something happen. I thought we did when we blocked the field goal. This mistake here, hopefully we'll overcome it.
All right, Coach, thanks for stopping. Back to you.
Tom Coughlin in his 8th season just signing a contract extension for a team which has 21 new faces on the roster. This the turning point so far. 14-7. A couple touchdown passes by each quarterback, and then Brunell throws an interception to Marcus Washington. And we're at 14-7. Kevin Harlan alongside Randy Cross. Surprises so far for you?
Well, not a whole lot. I mean, just like Tom Coughlin told Beasley going in, we've got to overcome that one mistake. The ball right now is in the court of the defense of the Jacksonville Jaguars, because you know Peyton Manning in that offense, their coordinator Tom Moore says this works, this works, this works, everything works.
So far, so good. Let's go downstairs to Beasley Reese.
Okay, I'm going to Coach Dungy. Coach, the super first half for your football team. What was the message at the half? Well, our message was the game's just starting. When you play a team on the road, you got to be ready to finish and play for 60 minutes. So the first 5 or 6 minutes of this half is going to be important, but the fourth quarter of the game's going to be on the line.
Thank you, Coach. Thanks for stopping.
So Epstein has the ball, and he'll tee it up at the 30-yard line. Yeah, you're right. What does Indianapolis do to change what they've done? So Epstein's kickoff.
Okay.
Deep back Troy Walters, and for the second time in the game a touchback, and that's exactly what they want this young rookie to accomplish. He did miss a 52-yarder as he went to halftime, and through 30 minutes of football. Randy Cross, here are some of the numbers.
Well, Jacksonville wants this to stay the way it is. They want that big edge in time of possession, because what they want to do is they want to run Fred Taylor. They want to take the ball away from Peyton Manning as much as possible, keep him on the sideline, and hope the mistakes go away. And they only made one big one, but that ended up costing them a touchdown.
Manning from the 20-yard line on the touchback, 1st and 10. Edgerrin James. A Mullen block, and then he is inhaled by Larry Smith. A gain of 2. 2nd down and 8.
Well, so far I think Jacksonville has got to be very sort of, I don't know, delighted would be the proper word, but at least happy with the interior play of Henderson and Smith and Marcus Stroud. They're getting solid inside. They've got to build up the outside, but inside would appear to be pretty solid.
Bracken still in, as you see, 2nd down and 8 from the 22. They fake to James, who offers a block and gives Manning time. What a catch downfield by Reggie Wayne. He's at the 50 and pulls in a 27-yard laser beam from quarterback Peyton Manning, and a 1st down for the Colts. They're working on Jason Kraft.
This play goes to Ryan Diem, the left guard. Watch what he does on the blitz pickup. He and Edgerrin James are coming out, but bang, I'm sorry, he was at the right guard. What a nice job. Stop the blitz, open up, give Peyton Manning the time to hit his receiver down the field.
1st and 10 outside the 49-yard line for Manning. You were wondering if James was going to block. That was a good example right there. And he gets the call here. A demolling block, but not much there. Westmoreland comes through and brings him down. Well, we all know the Colts have this great offense, but last year their defense, Randy, was 27th in yards allowed. When you take a look at last year's 6-10 season.
The 30.4 is the one that really jumps off the charts at me. 30 points a game when you've got an offense on the other side of the ball. That tells me that it's not necessarily always a coaching flaw, that you've got some pretty poor personnel on your football team.
2nd down and 10. Jodine Davenport is on the move. A block by James, and the pass it was intended for James, incomplete. Was that a little brush? Then was that designed?
That's exactly what it was supposed to be. James come up, brush Brackens. Brackens let him go. Keep going at Peyton Manning. Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator, they've got all sorts of wrinkles in their package. And Peyton Manning literally threw that ball underneath Tony Brackens' arms.
How about the maturity of Peyton Manning? What do you think of him on and off the field in that regard?
It's coming. It's coming. He showed a little immaturity last year with his kind of surprise at a coach actually having the gall to criticize him.
3rd down and 10. 49-yard line. Good time. Manning going deep down the middle. Almost picked off, incomplete. Almost swiped by James Boyd on a pass, zeroing in on Marvin Harrison. And so, for the first time today, the Colts have got to punt the ball.
You know, that knockdown is what the Jaguars needed or want. What they needed was that ball to be intercepted, the ball to be returned. Right in the hands. Marvin Harrison does a nice job of reaching back. But the defense rose to the occasion and stopped Peyton Manning.
Hunter Smith the punt. Damon Gibson deep back. He's out of Iowa. Here's Gibson, the smallest Jaguar. He's only 5'9". Oh, and it hit his own man. That's Ike Charlton, and ricochets out of bounds at the 7. That could have been disaster. That could have been disastrous. Good punt by Hunter Smith. This guy was running, didn't even see the ball coming down.
There's no excuse. Your return guy's back there screaming, fire, whatever you say. That word is supposed to say, get the heck out of the way.
41-yard punt. With Randy Cross and Beasley Reese, Kevin Harlan, sold out Alltel Stadium, Jacksonville, Florida. It's hot, as you might expect this time of year, but there is a breeze. That's keeping it somewhat cool from the 9-yard line. After the Colts' first punt of the afternoon, Mark Brunell, 1st and 10. Brunell threw an interception late first half, returned for a touchdown. Colts on top by 7. From the 9, Fred Taylor, nice block by the center, John Wade. Not much there, though, about 1.5 yards. 2nd down, long 8. Cover 2 defense, a cover 2 scheme by the Colts. Attacked by Fred Taylor, and holding on for dear life, Larry Triplett, among others. How would you attack a cover 2 defensive scheme?
Well, you're doing right now, if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, just how you attack a cover 2 scheme. You go right at it. And when you have the opportunity, cover 2 is basically 2 deep safeties here. Everybody in this coverage wants to keep the ball in front of them. Come forward, make a tackle. Forward, 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 forward. Hit the guy that's got the ball. What you do is you run at it. You try to get the safeties up closer to the line of scrimmage, then you throw behind it.
3rd down 1. Taylor out. Stacey Mack is in outside the 18. Mack gets the call. Another 3rd 1 play for the Jaguars. In fact, the 4th time today they have faced that.
Yeah, that was 3rd and
Yeah, it's not going to happen in there. You see Peterson, Rob Morris, all coming off the pile. They all did a great job, and they stopped him. And so Jacksonville's got a punt in their first second-half possession.
Now here's the situation. You've got to try to get the ball away from a Troy Walters. Fans, if you don't know much about this young guy out of Stanford, he's about 5'7", and he is a blur. You kick a low one, he'll return it all the way.
Hanson's punt going to drive the 5'7" Walters back to about his 16. Finds a gap. And then brought down niftily on the side about the 40-yard line. A couple Jaguars were there. Their starting linebacker, Westmoreland, made the stop. And a punt of about 66 yards. A flag is down back at the 25-yard line. You know, I'm continually amazed that I'm seeing Tony Dungy on the Colts sideline and not still seeing him in Tampa Bay.
Oh, he's got no business being on the Colts sideline. Absolutely no business. He should still be the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
He was let go in Tampa Bay a couple days later.
34, the receiving team. We'll mark that penalty from where possession changed, half the distance to the goal, 1st down.
He met with Bill Polian. He called Marv Levy, who was with Polian in Buffalo, said, what's it like to be with this guy? He said, it's carte blanche. What you need is what you'll get. Talked to Peyton Manning, decided that was the place to be. There he is in the Colts sideline. Back in sunny Jacksonville after a nice-looking punt. Colts have it inside the 10. Second start inside their own 10 this game. Last time they went from the 4 in 15 plays. 1st and 10 for Manning. Going deep, down the middle, wobbly pass. Did it slip or was it deflected? I think it slipped. It's
it had to slip out of his hand because he had Marvin Harrison low running right down the middle of the field. Get back to the Tony Dungy comment we made a little while earlier. Kevin, you know, Dungy is the coach now that's got to look at this offense on the sideline. Every opportunity. He's got to still be pinching himself, but look at that ball gets up into the wind. The wind's coming left to right and turns into a helicopter. It still looks like it slipped.
2nd down and 10 from the 9. A lot of noise in that end zone. Shovel pass, and it's off to Troy Walters, their kick return man, who is belted on the play by Fernando Bryant downstairs to Beasley Reese.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. You were talking about Tony Dungy. His presence is already felt. This is a defense in Indianapolis that gave up over 30 points a game last year. They're doing pretty good so far, holding the Jaguars down to 7. He took Tampa Bay when he first got there from 27th in defense down to 11th in his first year. His presence immediately felt here as well. Back to you.
And B's the #1 presence that's being felt. Watch this defense when they get it back on the field, how they run to the ball. Don't have any fat guys, and they're all running.
There is a player shaken up. That's Westmoreland.
I love that last play Tom Moore called, that little flip under to Troy Walters. You got a guy like that can run like Troy Walters can, even at his size. He hide him below the radar at 5'7" and flip him the ball.
We asked Dungy about, you know, did you call some of your big name guys? He said, yeah, I even called Edgerrin James. I said, what'd he say? He said, well, I called him. I said, EJ, it's me. And he goes, well, I just talked to Warren Sapp, dog. He says you're okay.
Yo, dog.
Yeah.
Somehow Dungy doesn't look like a yo dog.
No, he doesn't. But the players love him. They love him in Tampa, and they love him in Indy. 3rd down and 6 from the 13. Manning got the blocking outside. Edgerrin James dancing on the side with McCree. Ball is loose. Fumble and a flag. No yellow on the field. There was a fumble, and it goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. That is the Colts' first turnover today. Kind of got in a scrum.
Well, remember what I said earlier about ball maintenance being key? You haven't been hit very much in the preseason or on at all, really. Put the ball away. Keep it away from the defenders. Backside, that was Stroud, the big defensive tackle, came in and knocked the ball out before James hit the ground.
Let's see if they're going to look at it on replay and if they're going to use the red flag. We haven't had any replays so far.
I think you'd be getting bad advice if you replay this one.
So, huge turnover from the 14. Brunell, 1st and 10. They've elected not to replay, not to challenge. Fred Taylor. He slips and bounces back up, and then he finds himself in the grasp of Peterson, the linebacker. A gain of a yard. 17 carries, 63 yards for Taylor. He gains a yard there.
You know, Fred Taylor coming back from that groin injury. Tell me he's not 100%. He says not 100. It'd be scary to see what kind of cut he can make if that's not 100%. And remember, Beasley talked about the impact of Dungy on this defense. How many helmets did you see trying to get a shot on Taylor there?
It is a spontaneous defense, not a lot of thinking. 2nd down and 10. Here they come at Brunell. From behind, he fumbles the ball. It looked like Bratsky is the one who stripped him, and they start to unravel the pile.
It looked like he landed right straight back on it.
You're right, like he was laying an egg. And they do retain it. That's the first sack of the game. And interestingly enough, there was not a quarterback in the NFL who was more sacked last year than Mark Brunell.
Zach Weger gets beat on the outside by Chad Bratsky. I mentioned early in the game about Bratsky being 15 pounds lighter. He was 15 pounds quicker around the end, getting Tom Coughlin's quarterback. And Coughlin there looked like he thought he lost the ball.
Empty backfield. Taylor's in the slot, bottom of your screen. 3rd and 13. Ball at the 17-yard line. Here comes the blitz by Washington. It's a pass down the middle, caught by Shaw. And that ball is ripped away and picked up by Macklin, but they blow it dead. They blow that one dead. The gain is to the 9. The Colt defense holds, and they're going to bring on the rookie field goal kicker for a 3-point try. Much to the dismay of Mark Brunell, who is not working with Keenan McCardle anymore. He's working with Bobby Shaw. McCardle's gone, cap casualty.
And somebody on that offense is going to pick up those 90-some-odd catches that Keenan McCardle had last year. Brady's going to get some, but those wide receivers are going to pick up an awful lot of catches.
27-yard try by Hayden Epstein, the rookie from Michigan. And he's got his first field goal in the NFL. So the Jacksonville Jaguars cash in on an Edgerrin James fumble. They get 3. But the Colts hold him out of the end zone. It's a bit closer with the Colts by 4. .27-yard field goal moments ago by Hayden Epstein. His field goals have been okay, but it's his kickoffs. Oh, and that ball falls off the tee. There have been two touchbacks.
That was almost a Lucy Charlie Brown deal there.
Two touchbacks on his kickoffs. Not bad at all.
I got it. Oops.
Whoops.
Don't. That could hurt.
Yeah. You know what? Really, you stop like that on a dime and hold up.
It's so much fun to laugh at kickers, but you could be seriously injured.
Pull a groin.
That.
There it goes again. Epstein chose, you said, from San Diego, as I mentioned before. He chose the University of Michigan because he wanted to challenge himself as a kicker. Wanted the poor conditions, the cold weather of the Midwest, the upper Midwest. And he said he got that more, and in fact, at Michigan, he was also their punter. So he was kicking off.
Well, using that mentality, how come he didn't go to the Canadian Football League?
The green stuff.
Dinero,
yes,
maybe?
The green stuff. Rate exchange isn't all that good. Here's the kickoff.
He got over the weather being a huge factor.
That is in the end zone, his 3rd of the day. There may not be another kicker in the NFL who has had this kind of day. And to think this is his NFL debut.
Perfect placement.
It's a long bridge. Colts have it. Touchdown pass by Manning. Touchdown pass by Brunell. Brunell threw an interception for a touchdown. We've seen blocked field goal. All kinds of stuff. Good opening day game in Jacksonville. Touchback On the 21st and 10. That's what Manning will deal with right now. Tony Bracken still in there. Edgerrin James slipping outside and brought down by Brackens, which is just incredible. He gained 6 and he's got 13 carries for 50 yards. Incredible because he only played a handful of snaps in preseason.
Right.
Major offseason knee surgery on his knee. And here he is playing most of the game at that defensive end.
Well, Brackens hurt his knee last year on a chop block, but it's the other knee that he's having the troubles with. Brackens had 11 sacks last year. He's a speed guy, and he needs that confidence in his leg. It swells an awful lot on him.
Second down, a couple yards to go. Manning throws a bullet. And coughed up. Was it a fumble? Brackens was there, jumping on the loose ball.
That was a fumble. There's no pointing to the ground. The officials are not calling that down.
It is another fumble deep in Colt territory by Indianapolis. And all Peyton Manning can do is shake his head. And yet Tony Brackens, the guy to vacuum it in. They got Pollard hurt. He's the guy that caught the ball in the subsequent fumble.
And the easiest way to keep track of whether it's a fumble or not, folks, is to always watch the officials. If they're not waving their arms and pointing at the ground, Pollard's up, it's out, and it's a fumble. Jacksonville's got some momentum.
Marcus Pollard walked off under his own power, but he is clearly in a daze, and they are going to replay and challenge that fumble. I would too, wouldn't you, Randy?
Oh, absolutely. I think Marcus Pollard was down, and two of the largest muscles on most of our bodies was what he had down on the ground. It was his backside before that ball ever came out.
Some muscles on some people are bigger than others.
What you have to look for is look for the ball or the lack thereof. Look at Pollard. Knees are up. He's up. He's down.
There goes the ball.
Comes out.
Did he even have the ball? I mean, are we saying it's a catch?
I think he had the ball.
I got one of the best in the business, and Bernie Cooker over there taking a look at it.
And remember here, Kevin, too, it's got to be conclusive. It's got to be something that just blatantly jumps out and says, yes, there's a difference. Yes, there's a mistake.
If that's the replay he's going to watch, I don't know if that's conclusive. Blatantly conclusive.
Watch him being twisted to the ground.
Ball's gone right now. It's because ball's at least...
Ball's coming out away, but you can't really see it come out. Down.
His knee was not down when that ball was...
Well, it's not his knee that hits first. It's his backside. There would not appear to be, from those angles, anything conclusive enough to overrule.
Tony Dungy's quarterback, Peyton Manning, what a 15-play drive to begin the game and a 6-yard touchdown pass. Then Tom Coughlin had his quarterback, Mark Brunell, throw an 8-yard touchdown pass on a 17-play drive, which tied it at 7. You can't tell when the ball's jarred free. That's the problem with that angle, and those are the only angles we have.
If this stays a fumble, though, this is custom made to exactly what Tom Coughlin talked about with Beasley going in at the half. We've got to overcome the mistakes we made. We've got to make things happen. We've got to create opportunities for ourselves. This is creating an opportunity for your offense.
Bernie Cooker has seen what he needs to see, and
after reviewing the play, there is not enough visual evidence to change the call. We cannot see the ball. First down, Jacksonville. Charge timeout, Indianapolis.
So the challenge is lost, a second straight start for Jacksonville and Indianapolis territory.
And we have all survived our first replay of the year.
Yep. Fred Taylor in the backfield, 25-yard line. Play fake to him, and a good one it was to Pete Mitchell. He caught a touchdown pass earlier today. Then he wheels his way to the 16-yard line. It's a pickup of about 8.5, 9 yards. Tackle made by Marcus Washington.
This is a nice play call by Tom Coughlin. Watch up the field comes the defender, and then you see Pete Mitchell come in from here, right underneath him to go for the pass. What is the defender thinking? Scioli's thinking trap block. Bradsky's thinking trap block. Mitchell's thinking first down.
2nd down and 2. 17-yard line. Here comes Bradsky. Brunell gets away. A flag has been thrown. And an incomplete pass. Macklin on the coverage, watching Jimmy Smith, who's been quiet today. Nothing in the second half. Another hold against Jacksonville. All their penalties today have been on the offensive side.
Zach Wiegert may have had a little bit too good a grasp of his technique.
Holding, 77 offense. A 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Well, hopes he don't have to eat the football here. 2nd down and 12 from the 27. Wiegert has a block there. Here comes Brunell. He has to get down to the 15 and slides to the 17-yard line. He had Smith in the end zone. He scrambles for 9. That'll set up 3rd down and just a couple to go.
Watch Brunell in the pocket. The multiple reads. We've got 2 quarterbacks back in the studio that are probably living plays like this with a quarterback as he looks around, sees nobody to throw it to, and does the smart thing. 2 smart things. Doesn't force it, and he slides and gets down.
You see some scores. Green Bay now coming back to within 1 of Atlanta, among others. 3rd down and 3. 18-yard line. Brunell, short drop, quick throw to the end zone. Caught for a touchdown. Patrick Johnson. Who'd he beat, Randy?
You know, if you're a defensive back, what you don't see can hurt you. Walt Harris doesn't look back till late. By then, it's too late. Patrick Johnson's got it, and Mark Brunell has Tom Coughlin carrying that card to the Mark Brunell fan code right now.
So Patrick Johnson gets Mark Brunell's 2nd touchdown pass of the day. Mitchell caught the first, an 18-yard strike to Johnson, who was out most of last year with a broken collarbone. He comes from Baltimore.
Kevin, you can't turn and look and run full speed. Nice play call by Tom Coughlin.
Mark Brunell, 2 touchdown passes and 10 Jacksonville points off of 2 Indianapolis turnovers, 2 fumbles. And moments ago they cash in on the Marcus Pollard fumble, does Jacksonville, and it's the Jaguars' first lead today, 17-14. 4th. That's amazing. The 4th time a touchback by the young rookie kicker. As we head downstairs to Beasley Reese.
All right, thanks a lot, guy. I have the injury report on number 81, Marcus Pollard, the one who fumbled that led to this last touchdown. He has a sprained left knee and a bruised left ribs. His return questionable. And Randy, I thought this might be one of those embarrassment injuries. You know, I just messed up, so I'm hurt. But apparently he's really injured. Back to you.
Yeah, absolutely, Bijou. You see that a lot, and that's a nice job. You hate to see a receiver just like that, because this is a tool Peyton Manning needs right now. He needs Marcus Pollard down the middle of the field.
He's got Davenport and Wiggins right now. James in the backfield. Touchback at the 20, 1st and 10. Manning, look out from behind. Down he goes, Paul Spicer, who went to high school in Indianapolis, comes back to get his hometown Colts with the first Jacksonville sack today.
Is this an opener or what? This defense couldn't stop anybody last year. Though in the opener, remember, this is a team that beat Pittsburgh that went to the AFC Championship game. Indianapolis scored 40-plus points 2 weeks in a row to start the year, and they ended up 6-10.
2nd down, 17.
Just an emotional ride.
Manning off of James. Ricochets almost picked off by Marlon McCree, which would have been the 3rd consecutive Colts turnover. Incomplete pass. What was Manning telling us yesterday about the noise and his gestures, and they never have any false movement?
Well, they don't have any false starts, and the reason they do, they're very synchronized. They practice it a lot with the foot motion and the tapping on the center, and one thing they don't practice is just momentum shift. You don't play for this, and this is when you're a football team, you're glad you've got a Peyton Manning who has the poise that he does. This is as tough as it gets.
12-yard line, 3rd down and 17. Outside, first time they have gone to Qadry Ismail since the first drive of the game. But he's short. The coverage applied by Keewaukie Thomas. 3 and out for the Colts, who have got a punt.
This is probably a pretty good time to talk about that patience. Remember, I talked earlier about patience and chemistry being such a big part of the league. You've got to be very patient, not only as a football player and a coach, but I think also as a fan. Don't stake so much to this opener does not determine your season.
Hunter Smith had a couple blocked in '99. He's back to punt right now. 4 years out of Notre Dame. Deep back, Damon Gibson. That's a line drive boot, which is going to whistle over the head of Gibson, who retrieves it on a ball. He lost the ball, and it's loose at the 19 and picked up by the Colts, we think, and then maybe regained by Jacksonville, but they say it is the Colts ball, as Clifton Crosby was down there in a flash, and the young Damon Gibson coughed it up, and a final turnover for Jacksonville, we think.
Gibson,
that been recovered by Indianapolis.
Yep.
First down.
Kevin, that's inexcusable. Tom Coughlin was right in that young man's face, and that is inexcusable. To let that thing go over your head. It's a low line drive. Go back and get it. And secondly, not to control it. See him looking up. He's worrying about what's coming instead of the ball. That's why he loses the ball.
So let's see if Manning, given new life here, can strike. It's inside the 30. Take it the 20. At the 19, first down and 10. Manning fires it to the side. He's out of bounds. He caught it incomplete to Edgerrin James. 2nd down and 10. And remember, no Marcus Pollard. He is out with the injury.
Well, there's nice coordination between Manning and James here. Unfortunately, I think the field down on the beach in South Florida that Edgerrin practiced on this summer was maybe a little bit wider than this one.
James guaranteed 150 yards today, didn't he?
Well, he's a bit off.
Yeah.
You better pick up the pace.
Right now he's got 50 yards. 13 carries. Here's Edgerrin James, and slipped through the grass with Stroud, then brought down by Darius after a gain of 7.
And really a steady diet here after some mistakes earlier by the offense. A steady diet of Edgerrin James is just what the Colts need. Peyton Manning at this point is not your best weapon. Your best weapon right now is the momentum shifter, the momentum killer, and that'd be Edgerrin James running the football.
3rd down and 3. The Colts, as you take a look at Damon Gibson, who muffed that ball last 4 third downs tries. They have not got Manning. The pump fake into the end zone. Wide open. Ismail for a touchdown. He was Baltimore's most productive receiver a year ago. He signs with the Colts and has his first touchdown reception in Indianapolis.
You know, when you do a little fishing, fly fishing, things like that, they refer to catching the fish when you're kind of tricking them as ripping lips. You get that hook in there and it rips the fish's lip. Right there, Keewaukie Thomas was the fish. Peyton Manning was the fisherman. And that touchdown was all about that pump fake. Keewaukie Thomas sat down.
So a couple touchdown passes by Manning, both to Ismail, and here's the extra point by Vanderjagt. And the Colts back on top, 21-17.
The quick pump. Zap. Sits down Thomas. Ismail keeps going. He's not throwing an awful lot of passes to Qadry, but boy, are they quality. Every time he throws them, it seems like it's 6 points. Manning pumps and uses technique as good as anybody in the game. Imagine you're the corner and you see that arm pump, that ball move like that. Dan Marino did it excellent. Boomer Esiason was one of the good play-action guys. And it all started with that mistake by Gibson not fielding that punt. That's something Tony Dungy didn't have in Tampa, was an offense that could make you pay for mistakes every time.
Well, we've gone back and forth in this game, and Coughlin watching his Jaguars turn it over twice. The Colts have turned it over twice. And Manning is a guy that will go right to the blood, right to the jugular. He had that great field position. He would not let it relinquish, and Gibson the man right now that needs to build himself back up.
And it's the danger of an injury in James, Kevin. You know you've got that running threat in there. It opens up the play action. It opens up the pump fakes. Having a running back like that opens your whole playbook.
Vanderjagt's kickoff. Joseph, he fumbles the ball. Then wisely dives out at the 12. Now our NFL.com poll, which off-season edition will have the biggest impact on the NFL in 2002? Bledsoe to the Bills, Williams to Miami, Gruden to Tampa Bay, Spurrier to Washington, Dungy to the Colts. Cast your vote. NFL.com.
Okay, I will. I say Steve Spurrier to the Redskins.
I say Gruden to the Buccaneers.
Yeah, people are in for a rude shock with Steve Spurrier. You might not like him, but you know what, folks? He doesn't care if you don't like him. He's going to be successful. He's an offensive coach who is going to get points scored.
Mark Brunell today, 13 of 18. He's in his last 5. Great play by Scioli, who comes in and nails Taylor for a loss of 3 on the play. Scioli, he was the guy, the draft pick in the Marshall Faulk deal with the St. Louis Rams.
It's kind of like being the San Francisco 49er that ended up on that team when Y.A. Tittle went to the Giants.
2nd down and 13. At the 9. Quick hitter outside Kyle Brady. First time the angular tight end out of Penn State has grabbed the pass. He picks up a yard. On it quickly, Corey Bird out of Virginia Tech. It'll be 3rd down.
We're seeing flashes of the kind of defense Tony Dungy wants to see. We're seeing flashes of the cover 2 filling up and making those tackles, the penetration by the defensive line. It's all a matter of techniques that are taught not only by Dungy, but the coordinator, Ron Meeks, has pounded this theory in. There's Dwight Freeney, the rookie defensive end. You want to see speed and run to the ball? Watch 93.
3rd down, 12 from the 10. Brunell, pretty good time, throws a pass, coughed up, incomplete. 21-yard line by Jimmy Smith. Jacksonville has got a punt. Smith has been quiet in the second half. And at the big game a year ago when he came back from the abdominal surgery, 8 catches, couple receptions in the end zone for touchdowns. But today, maybe not the impact that we thought we'd see.
Well, a lot of that, too, is the product of this defense that Indianapolis is playing. You can take stuff away with this cover 2 defense. Funnel them inside, you can't throw it to them.
Troy Walters is deep back. Hansen will punt. Down from the 37-yard line. Out of block, being chased and forced out of bounds on the play by reserve linebacker Joe Tuapolo. 53-yard punt. 48-yard line. Again, good beginning field position for the Colts.
And it's just what Tony Dungy wants from his offense. And John Peace, the coordinator for the Jaguars, has got to get aggressive. And Peyton Manning knows it. That means play action.
Watkins is in, as you saw. Handoff goes to James and tumbles ahead near the 41-yard line. Kraft makes one hit. McCree makes the other. A lot of James I think we're going to see now.
That's what I said, a steady diet of James in the last drive. But when you see the way Peyton Manning runs this offense, you see that handoff? The way he went sprinting to his left and held that ball out there for everybody in the world to see. Next time you see that, he'll sprint out there, hold that ball out, he'll pull it back and tuck it in, and he'll have a play action to Harrison down the field.
Great sleight of hand to quarterback. 2nd down and 3 from the 41. James Side steps his way, just nudging inside 40, a gain of about a yard on the play. James about 65, 64 yards on the afternoon. We're just winding up the third quarter. 2 touchdown passes by Peyton Manning to Qadry Ismail. And an interception by Marcus Washington off of Brunell, racing 40 yards. Those are the 3 Indianapolis touchdowns today. Brunell has thrown a couple touchdown passes. 3rd down and 2. The Colts on 3rd down today. Nice 60%.
At 6.5 yards per average.
Something else.
Wow.
James, the stop. And then jumps ahead, gets the yardage close to a 1st down to the 37-yard line.
You know, I use the terms or the words patience and chemistry an awful lot when I talk about football teams. You're seeing a very patient Tony Dungy football team right now, waiting to take advantage of mistakes.
End of the 3rd quarter, the Colts on top, 21-17. We begin the 4th quarter, 1st down and 10. Manning a couple touchdown passes from the 37 of Jacksonville. With Randy Cross and Beasley Reese, Kevin Harlan. Marcus Powell, the tight end, injured now. Nice fake to James, buys Manning tons of time. Here they come. There he goes, incomplete. Coming up the middle is Larry Smith. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
That's exactly the play I was talking about. Before it went to the left, this play it went to the right. And what he wanted to do down the field is he wanted to get the ball to Marvin Harrison. Look at the top of your screen. Watch the receivers at the top of the screen. Harrison's going to come and he's going to break on a deep route. That's where he wants to go with it. Watch the nice job that the defense does, figuring out who is who and what is what.
Harrison hasn't caught a pass in the 2nd half.
John Peace's defense is getting the rhythm of this Colts offense down right now.
2nd down 10, 37-yard line. James. Oh, nice block by DeMullen and by the wide receiver Harrison. Driven out of bounds by Donovan Darius inside the 30-yard line, picking up 8 on the play. Nice opening game effort by Edgerrin James, who missed a ton of games a season ago with the ACL.
And he's one of those running backs that when it comes to goals, if you want to say, well, he's a 1,000-yard runner, nowadays 1,000 yards is no big deal. He's already got more yards today to average to get his 1,000 yards. I mean, the goal for a runner like this that's already led the league, he's got to be looking at 15 to 2,000 as being a good year.
Manning, who's coming off a 4,000-yard passing season last year, 180 in that slot on opening day so far. 3rd down and 2. Good block by James. Here comes Manning, has to get to the 27. Has the 1st down and slides to about the 23-yard line. Has the 1st, tackled on the play by Coleman. It's a scramble of 6 yards by Peyton Manning.
You want to know how you make a proud Colt fan quiet? Make them watch this. Peyton Manning. Oh, are you kidding me? You want to run the chance of getting number 18 drilled? Is your season, is your entire organization tied to one guy more than any other team in the league? And Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator, he's about to chew through that whole finger. He's about down to the 2nd knuckle.
7th play of the drive. The 1st down story there from the 23. Play action when Manning excels to the end zone. And off the fingertips of Ismail, had he been able to lasso the pass, it would have been his 3rd touchdown reception of the day. Coverage by McCree, incomplete, 2nd and 10.
You know, great quarterbacks like a Marino and an Elway and a Montana could make throws that look like they're being thrown away. Actually sort of be the only place this guy can catch the ball is where he puts it. And right there where Peyton Manning put that ball to Ismail, he was the only guy that had a shot at catching it. And as far as Qadry's concerned, I'm sure he thinks he should have.
Both teams have had 2 turnovers today. 2nd down and 10. Manning wearing that brand new concussion-proof helmet by Rydell. Spicer, along with Henderson, grab onto James after a gain of 4, and he slides to the 19.
Yeah, that helmet's being very, very popular right now with quarterbacks. Manning's wearing it, Brunell's wearing it. I think a lot of quarterbacks around this league just want to do the extra work. See the face mask, how it sits lower on that helmet? The helmet looks a little bit larger than normal. It's made to specifically absorb more of the concussive force. A lot of the impact is tried to be taken away. Until more guys wear it, though, they won't know how well it works.
9th play of the drive. 3rd down and 6, shy of the 19. Watch for Ismail here. He's been a big guy on 3rd down. And the reception made down inside the 10-yard line by Marvin Harrison. His first reception of the second half. A gain of 10, and a player is down. It'll be goal to go. It's Fernando Bryant. It'll be goal to go for Indianapolis. They can ill afford another defensive injury.
Anytime you see a teammate waving to the trainer and the staff on the side, it's not a good sign.
Well, we're back in Jacksonville. You see number 25, Bryant, being taken off the field. This is unofficial, but I'm standing here watching as they were rubbing his muscles and helping him to get over cramps. It's extremely warm down here. Everybody on this stadium or in the stadium is in a full body sweat. Back upstairs.
Except for Andy and I.
I feel good.
Yeah, I do too. 1st and goal at the 9. Sorry, Bees.
Don't you have a fan down there, Bees?
They're getting some good help today, too, from his son Blake. 1st and goal from the 9. Edgerrin James picking and poking his way inside the 5. Give him 5.5 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and goal.
You know, when you draw up plays, they're usually straight arrows. The straight arrows look kind of like this. Edgerrin James and good backs make a straight arrow look like a crooked arrow. Watch his directions. Right, left, right. Zip, zap. And nobody got a clean shot on him.
These 2 new guards have blocked well today.
The young guys have done a great job. Deem and DeMulling have really had a good opener.
2nd and goal at the 3. 11th play of the drive. Glenn with the block. Touchdown, Marvin Harrison. The 48th time. The 48th time that Manning and Harrison have connected.
And a nice job by Edgerrin James blocking on the blitz for Peyton Manning. Bought him just that little extra time to set up that play. Watch Edgerrin James right here. It's one of the little subtle things. You got a bad knee, guys don't usually want to block. I'll tell you what, if I got a vote on the subject, I vote that knee's all right. Edgerrin James was absolutely right. He's been ready for a while.
So Peyton Manning has thrown 3 touchdown passes today. The extra point by Vanderjagt is up and in. The Colts now beginning to pull away with 11.5 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. This touchdown pass to Marvin Harrison puts Indianapolis up 28-17. Marvin Harrison just caught a touchdown pass, the first for him today, the 3rd by Peyton Manning. On that drive, the Colts converted 3rd and 2, 3rd and 2. 3rd and 6. And
no coincidence that Fernando Bryant goes out with the cramps. He's been covering Marvin Harrison most of the day. They go right to him as soon as he's out of the game.
Elvis Joseph. Side swiped and brought down nicely by Donnell Thompson on the special teams. 16-yard return. And our entire CBS crew with you at sold-out All-Gel Stadium in Jacksonville. Mark Brunell has got a couple touchdown passes today as well from his 25, 1st and 10. Fake to Taylor. That's a hold, I think. Not called. Maurice Williams is doing the blocking outside Pete Mitchell. And a gain of about 6 on the play. I don't know if that was a hold or not, but Maurice Williams got away with it, and they move it up to the 30.
No, that was a good play. Gosh, you're going to have to learn this. If they don't throw the flag, it's excellent technique.
Yeah,
if they throw the flag, it's bad timing.
I want to see that. Well, spoken like an offensive lineman.
That's right. That's how you put a guy on his face.
Yeah.
Oops.
2nd down for Jacksonville with 3 timeouts. A little bit early for that, but just to bring you up to date, Fred Taylor zigzags his way into the grasp of Larry Triplets. Gain of 3.
And a great example, again, of opening day. Buffalo looked absolutely abysmal this offseason. They looked like they couldn't score points on anybody.
3rd down 1, Taylor. And his dive over Corey Bird up to the 37 gives Jacksonville a much-needed 1st down. What do you do now if you're Jacksonville? You've moved the ball pretty good all day. You fiddle it all with the way you've been attacking that defense.
It's 10 minutes. You stay with what you're doing. You stay with Fred Taylor. If you're Tom Coughlin, you get the ball to your tight ends. You have to find a way to open up a receiver, whether it's Patrick Johnson again, get Jimmy Smith back in the rotation and the rhythm, but you don't change anything. You got plenty of time. It's only 11 points.
37-yard line, 1st and 10. Timeout. Colts called a timeout. They've got one left. That was their second.
Indianapolis.
You could hear Rob Morris calling that timeout in the umpire's mic.
How did it sound? Timeout in Jacksonville. Randy, put this Jacksonville drive into context for us right now.
Oh, let's say you got to score here to win the game. Tom Coughlin's got to find a way to get the ball in the end zone, and you got to get Jimmy Smith back involved. Only one ball thrown to him this half.
1st and 10. Brunell. Pocket crumbles. He somehow gets away. Dumps it off to Taylor in the open field, and then they converge at the 46. Close to a first down. Picks up a nifty 9, and that'll make it 2nd down and 1.
Do you have any idea how many muscles you and I had pulled if we tried to run like Fred Taylor just did there?
Well, we know that
I can't even change my mind that fast.
He has one less because now instead of the 3 that control whatever he controls down below the waist, he only has 2, which are together. So they just ripped the muscle right off the bone last year.
Yeah, but Fred Taylor be scary, and so many people in this organization would love to see what this guy could accomplish with a healthy, complete season. It's scary to think.
Well, Jacksonville running back Fred Taylor suffered a groin injury September 23rd of last year against Tennessee and missed the final 14 games of the season. Can you even describe what that would feel like?
When you see a player react like that, a running back, a quality running back who drops the ball and just goes to the ground, that immediately tells you the severity of that injury and how much that thing hurt. And how remarkable it is this quickly that Fred Taylor is back doing the things he's doing in this football game today.
2nd down and 1, 46-yard line. Taylor in motion. Brunell, here they come again. Gets by Scioli. Pass downfield, incomplete. Threw it away.
Brunell's pass intended for Pete Mitchell. Walt Harris on the coverage.
Now 3rd down and a yard. Jacksonville 3 timeouts. The Colts have 1. Defensive mind of Dungy against the offensive mind of Coughlin.
And it's way too early to be thinking about going for things on 4th down and things like that. Remember what a great job they've done on 3rd and 1 so far. It's the 5th time they've had it. And Stacey Mack has been the tool, and he's not in the game.
He is now. Brunell takes it. Quarterback keeper has the first down. 2nd time we've seen him do that today. And he has a sore groin. He has an injury he suffered in practice this week.
Yeah, Beasley talked about it earlier in the game. On Thursday, he pulled a little groin muscle. Didn't practice at all Friday, and this is just a case of getting behind Big John Wade, your offensive center, with your guards Meester and Naoli, just sort of squeezing in there and getting you to that 1.5, 2 yards.
2 tight ends, 2 receivers, 1 back. 7th play of the drive, 1st and 10 beyond the 47. Good block by Williams, low pass. Jimmy Smith incomplete.
Pass intended for Jimmy
2nd down, 10.
David Macklin on the coverage. 2nd down.
It was there. Tom Coughlin knows it. He called the right play. The execution on both ends was just off enough to be an incomplete. The ball was a little low for Jimmy Smith because Mark Brunell was falling away because of the rush, and Jimmy Smith didn't go down and get it.
6 receptions today. Chad Bransky, the ex-Giant, digging in. 2nd down and 10. Brunell. Here they come from behind, and the pass is caught by Jimmy Smith. Inside the 40, down to the 38, a pickup of 14 yards. There was an incredible block. Was it thrown by Taylor? That protected Brunell. At the split second, that ball went away.
It was Fred Taylor working on Marcus Washington that enabled Jimmy Smith to get down the field to get this. In fact, Fred Taylor looked like poked in the eye by Marcus Washington as he was trying to get that block performed.
It was a great block.
But there's a cover, too. They're going to be Dak. They're going to drop deep. They're going to give you the catch in that case. Then they're going to come forward and try to make the hit.
Stacey Mack, who made the team as a rookie free agent a couple of years ago. Pass downfield is caught Jimmy Smith from Brunell, 18 yards to the 21-yard line. Another Jacksonville first down.
And quarterback wide receiver combinations sometimes, to me, are kind of like boxers. Right now, Jimmy Smith and Mark Brunell are on their toes. They're jabbing, they're dancing, they're moving. Jimmy Smith has got the feel, he's got the rhythm. And Brunell's just going right along with him, saying, hey, look, you find the hole in that cover two. There are lanes, there are creases. If you sit down, you're going to catch it, but you know you're going to get smacked. And Jimmy Smith, over 100 yards, as you just saw, another big game coming back.
He just took himself out of the game. He had no training camp. Taylor's back in. Cutting and slicing inside the 15-yard line. Fred Taylor picks up 7 yards, weaving through traffic. Tackle made by Bashir as the Chiefs are falling behind in Cleveland, in San Diego, and Marty Schottenheimer's debut as the coach on top of Cincinnati.
Good for Marty. All the flack that guy's gotten. He's an excellent football coach that's got a good young quarterback in Drew Brees and making some noise. And look at Miami over the line.
49 points. Ooh. Second down 3, 11th play of the drive.
Can you say Edsel in Detroit?
Wow, from the 14. Taylor again. Bratsky at the last second jumped and brought him down.
You know, you mentioned that Jimmy Smith had taken himself out. When he talked to us the other day, he talked about my endurance. I'm a little concerned with my endurance. And he's able to take himself out. One guy that's not concerned with his endurance despite the injury, Fred Taylor. Now, Fred Taylor's taken himself out of the game, but he is a guy that is just a workhorse that wants to get pounded. Give me the ball. Give me the ball.
Mack is back in, taking the place of Taylor, third down 1. Jacksonville 8 of 14 on third downs today. From the Colt 12. The fake to Mack. Here comes Brunell. Chased on the side by Bratsky to the end zone. Incomplete. Zeroing in on Smith, who is covered back there by Bashir and David Macklin.
It's fourth down. You're down by 11. You gotta go for the first down here.
They converted a 4th and 1 earlier in the game. Timeout taken by the Colts, and that is their final timeout. They burn. Jacksonville has all 3, which may play into their hand, but this drive is everything for the game for them.
A good discipline by Indianapolis and Tony Dungy's football team. They're not positive about what defense they should be in. You call a timeout, and you go to the sideline.
This is pretty much the game for both Tony Dungy and Tom Coughlin. Because you say this is kind of a staggered 3-part story coming up.
You know, part A is you score, part B is you stop Peyton, and part C is Tom Coughlin's football team scores again. So it's a very protracted process, obviously.
4 receivers, 1 running back. 4th downs today. Jacksonville 1 of 1.
No tight ends in the game.
You changing it?
It's 4 wides. You know, it's not Fred Taylor.
Taylor picks up the blitz. There goes the pass. Caught for a first down. Oh, what a catch by Shaw. How about the block by Taylor?
I don't know what's more impressive, that block by Fred Taylor or that catch by Bobby Shaw. I mean, this guy looks like Spider-Man. How do you catch this over your back? What a wonderful effort by Bobby Shaw. Fred Taylor steps up, absorbs the blow, and Bobby Shaw twisting and turning.
Remarkable.
Plan A stays alive.
First and goal from the 9. Fake end around. Here comes Taylor. To the 6. Washington with the stop, a gain of 3, second goal.
If you're Tom Coughlin, you're kind of kicking yourself that it was a fake reverse. Because there were people screaming reverse, as you could hear on that nice audio we had. But not many of the defenders were staying home. They were running with Fred Taylor.
Taylor's got a bit of a limp as he gets off that pile.
Well, they're getting their money's worth out of Fred Taylor today. He talked about not really getting a chance to do much, not really getting untracked in the preseason. He is officially untracked.
He has 77 yards. James has 86. Second down goal from the 6. Taylor. A block by Naoli opens the door and a touchdown. Chris Naoli gave a devastating block.
And that whole left side, Kevin, Zach Wiegert, Brad Meester, John Wade, They set that up. And the second half, what set that up? Look at Naoli. Just crushes Rob Morris. And look at the power in the legs. Watch Rob Morris, 94, just get planted by Naoli. And Fred Taylor is able to drive straight through, and they're going for 2.
5-point game right now. That was a 15-play, 75-yard drive. The numbers on 2-point conversions a season ago. 3 wides, a tight end, and a running back. That's Taylor.
I like this because you really have to honor Fred Taylor. That sets up play action.
Brunell for 2, and it is caught by Jimmy Smith. The 2-point conversion makes it a 3-point game, and your 3-step plan has 1 step gone.
Now for the hard part.
Yes.
John Peace's defense has to get on the field, and 3 and out Peyton Manning. And one of the top 3 offenses in the NFL. Mark Brunell, Jimmy Smith, chemistry, timing. That's just playing football. That's not a draw it up. That's been there, done that. That's experience. Nice job by the offensive line. Wiegert sends Bransky out wide, opens up the passing lane, and Jimmy Smith goes down and gets it.
Jimmy Smith, again, like a season ago, coming out with a terrific opening season game. Over 100 yards through the air, and a 2-point conversion that brings Jacksonville to within 3. On the Olympus College football today, Epstein's kickoff. He's had 4 touchbacks today, and this is picked up by Troy Walters, and he is smothered at the 25. 18-yard return, and now Manning with no timeouts. Elvis Joseph made the stop. We'll have it, 4:05 on the clock.
You ever spend much time at the beach?
Yeah.
You know when you hit a riptide and it looks like the waves are going in and they're coming out and it's moving back and forth? The momentum and the tide of this game is just like that. Peyton Manning makes a great drive, scores. Mark Brunell, great drive, scores. Defensive plays, special teams mistakes, good decisions by coaches, poor decisions by quarterbacks. This is a pressure opening day boiler.
26-yard line, 1st and 10. Edgerrin James. Oh, and he's stopped by Brackens and then finished off inside by Henderson. A loss of 3. Brackens, who has played truly a medical miracle type of game, comes through, bad knee and all, and makes a crucial stop.
You got to remember, you say medical miracle, you got bone on bone working here with Tony Brackens. Watch underneath as he comes. Underneath the play. Penetration. This guy, Tom Coughlin said, I said to Tom Coughlin Friday or yesterday, I said, if you can get 30 plays out of Tony Brackens, is that good? He says, good.
A miracle.
He says, that's great. It's a miracle.
That was the word he used, and he's gotten his miracle today.
This veteran's been out there just battling, and you can tell he's tired. He hadn't done a lot of aerobic work this offseason. This is working on guts and heart.
Jacksonville took the timeout. They got 2 left. Colts, no timeout. 2nd down, 13. Manning back at his 24. The fake to James. Downfield. What a catch made by Ismael, who's at the 47. He's already caught 2 touchdown receptions today. Hauls in a 24-yarder, and he's down with 3:42 in the clock ticking.
And a nice, smart play by Joe Jefferson, too. Playing there in the nickel backfield. Peyton Manning throws this. Remember what I said earlier? You put it where your guy has a chance to get it. That's the only person that could have get it was Ismael. And smartly, he is tackled and downed afterwards because he still hasn't been touched while he's down.
And Ismael, a player who trains in the offseason with 2 retired players, Chris Carter and O.J. McDuffie. That's been part of his past offseason, honing some of their skills. And at 31, a great addition, another part of the weaponry for Peyton Manning.
Talk about a workout warriors, too. You got both those guys, McDuffie and Carter, have been guys that have just set the standard for a lot of football teams on how you work out in the off seasons.
So Ismael will leave. Two tight ends will be in. The Colts have no timeouts. They lead by 3. Manning has thrown 3 touchdown passes today. Brunell has thrown 2 touchdown passes, but one of his passes intercepted and returned for a touchdown by the Colts. Edgerrin James, a little less than 100 yards on the day, is climbing past the 45 and down near the 44, picking up 8. James has about 91 yards, right on the money, and Fred Taylor also making a great comeback. Randy Cross has 83 yards on the ground.
And folks, you're out there, you've got to notice Peyton Manning before these snaps. He's pointing at defenders. You see him waggle out to his receivers. So much of that is window dressing. In fact, Donovan Darius told us the other day, says, hey, I've got to learn to see, when is this happening? If it's not happening early in the play clock, it's just a ploy. If it's later in the play clock, he's trying to change the play. Great example. He's pointing at that linebacker backside like it's protection, and he's handing the ball off to James going left. All it's got to do is create that second of hesitation in the defender, and that opens a little bit of lane up for James.
2 teams from the brand new AFC South. Both teams 6-10 a season ago. Outstanding quarterbacking, 2 gutty performances by 2 rehab superstar running backs. It's been a terrific opening day here in Florida. Second down and a short 2 for Manning. He's inside the Jacksonville 45. James finds it. The first down. He's to the 37, grabbed by John Henderson, the rookie out of Tennessee. Picks up a bulldozing 6. He's to the 37.
Yeah, I might be beating a horse, but I'm going to give the old equine a couple of whacks. Anyway, Peyton Manning, see him before the play. He's screaming, he's yelling, he's looking back and forth. If you're a defender, you've got to look at Tom Moore's quarterback, who's the coordinator in your picture, and say, there's got to be something going on. It can't just be a simple run up the middle. Ball snapped, it's a simple run up the middle, and they're getting another first down.
Great game between the Jets and Buffalo right now. That is in a 4th quarter. Drew Bledsoe, Kansas City trying to creep back, trailing by 5 in Cleveland, and Marty Schottenheimer and Drew Brees both making NFL debuts as a new coach with the Chargers and as a new quarterback in the NFL, respectively, with a nice performance in Cincinnati. And Carolina has beaten Baltimore. John Fox, his head coaching debut at the win. It is a first down at the 38 for Peyton Manning. Both teams out of timeouts. Edgerrin James with 98 yards. Westmoreland straightens him up and takes him down. No gain there. Second down. Neither team can stop the clock.
If you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, this is it. This is it. They cannot go any further. You have to remember the leg that Vanderjagt has. Vanderjagt can hit the ball from a long ways away.
And the wind is at his back. The wind will be at the Colts kicker's back.
You know, you get another first down or 2, and it's a moot point anyway for the kicker. But this is as close as they want to let him get.
Second down and 10 inside the 49. Make it the 39. James wrapped up again, taken down, Marcus Stroud. And so this will take us to the 2-minute warning, which is good news for Jacksonville to try to conserve some time. As Vanderjagt continues to warm up on the side, he has had a field goal block today. That's at least a play away. 28-25 the Colts. Two-minute warning, 3rd down, 11 yards to go. Indianapolis is 9 of 13 on 3rd downs today. Randy Cross and Beasley Reese, Kevin Harlan sold out All-Tall Stadium here in Jacksonville. Peyton Manning has thrown 3 touchdowns this afternoon.
If anybody catches a ball on you here, it can't be Marvin Harrison.
No timeouts either way. James, a demolling block, trying to cut outside. Marcus Stroud brings him down after a gain of 2. It's 4th down, and I assume they're going to punt. Indeed they are, as the punter, Hunter Smith, takes the field.
They're going to punt eventually.
Yeah.
But they will punt no time soon.
Clock will run. Snap will probably come with about 1:13, give or take a second.
Now, this is when the long snapper gets to have a little fantasy camp time, almost be like a quarterback, like Peyton Manning, watching the play clock, let it go down, get close, then let her fly.
Damon Gibson back. He fumbled the last time he was in this position, which ultimately led to a Colt touchdown, and Colts moved. On the far side, that was Clifton Crosby. He was one of the gunners.
Ball start, 31 offense. 5-yard penalty, still 4th.
You wonder why football coaches have gray hair and wrinkles?
Well, really now it's going to give him some extra room with which to work, though, when he punts.
But that was all about time.
Yeah.
That was all about seconds. You don't want to give Mark Brunell even one extra second.
Punt by Smith, trying to hang it in. It's going to go in the end zone. So we'll be back out to the 20-yard line.
That was dumb. That was flat dumb. You want to pin him inside the 10, not drill it to the end zone.
Neither the Colts or the Jacksonville Jaguars have a timeout left. 1:02 remaining. Mark Brunell, after the touchback on the Colt punt, will take it from his 20. He's got 2 touchdown passes today. Taylor in the backfield, 1st and 10. Here comes the rush. He gets away from Washington. He goes outside, caught by Taylor. Dancing around, he's on the side, he's to the 26. Picking up 6 as Brunell tries to hurry his team along.
Well, it's the point. You want to hurry, but you don't want to rush. You practice this. Keep your composure. You've already called the plays in the huddle before.
2nd down and 4, 26-yard line. Good time, deflected, incomplete. 35 seconds to play. It'll be 3rd down and 4 coming up for Mark Brunell, who has been in this situation many times in his NFL career.
And we've talked a lot about cover 2 today. And Tom Coughlin's quarterback has seen a lot of cover 2 out of the Indianapolis defense. Here's a time in the football game where both your safeties will be extra deep. You let no one behind you. If you're Tony Dungy's defense, make everything happen in front of you.
3rd down, 4 from the 26. Brunell winding up and going for Smith, and he overshoots him by about 10 yards. Smith has over 100 yards today in receiving. It's 4th and 4 with 30 seconds to play. Tony Dungy in his Colt head coaching debut. He's watched Peyton Manning throw 3 touchdown passes this afternoon. One of the big plays of the game was the interception by Colt linebacker Marcus Washington, returned for a touchdown on a Brunell throw.
It was one of the few mistakes Mark Brunell made today, and Tom Coughlin was all over it at the half, saying we've got to find a way to overcome it. So far they haven't.
No timeouts, 4th and 4. The pass is caught. It is good for a 1st down to Bobby Shaw, but the clock continues to tick. The chains are on the move to gain of 5, and Brunell spikes it with 17 seconds to play in the game. Take us inside this Coughlin-Brunell one-sided conversation, because Coughlin's talking on the radio.
Well, the problem here in this situation with 17 seconds to go and no timeouts is you almost take everything inside the numbers away. Because if you catch one down the field and you don't go all the way, you don't have the time to probably run 30, 40 yards. It's like a field goal takes 16 seconds. You've got to get outside the numbers on your passes.
2nd down and 10. After the spike, Brunell, pocket collapsing, throws downfield and caught. Grabbed on the play by Bobby Shaw.
Here comes the spike. Watch the clock.
They get the ball down. It's at the 46, a 24-yard gain. 3 seconds on the clock. 3 seconds remaining in regulation.
That is the fine art of living dangerously by Tom Coughlin and Mark Brunell. That was as far down as you could get and not get that thing off.
They have a rookie field goal kicker, but obviously into the wind in this distance.
Well, the safety and the defensive backs, too, or you're looking at 30, 40 yards deep. So this has got to be down the field. Look at the defensive backs. You've got one on the 3-yard line.
There goes Brunell. Winding up. Throwing it to the end zone, and it is bobbled and intercepted, but maybe even out of bounds. Doesn't matter. The game is over. No yellow on the field. And the Indianapolis Colts, behind Peyton Manning's 3 touchdown passes, have beaten Mark Brunell and the Jacksonville Jaguars in what was a sensational opening game to the 2002 season.
I said a few times during the game, Kevin, this is as close as we get to college. And this looked like one of the great college rivalries early in the season. It was all emotion. It was about mistakes. It was about turnovers.
Tony Dungy is victorious in his Colts head coaching debut. Jim Nance, we had a beauty here as we send it to you in New York.